Well, they spent 15 years looking to do something from paddock to consumer that was healthy and beneficial to people, and hemp tick those boxes. I don't often do a bit of product placement, but this actually does live in my fridge. Hopefield Hemp, harvest to health, 100% hemp seed oil, and of course, hashtag not sponsored, but I do take it every day. So I'm very excited to have Blair Drysdale on Sarah's Country. Blair and his wife Jodie and family are into their third season of growing hemp in their Southland farm, and it's still fine-tuning how they do it in terms of their crop rotations. Over 10 hectares of hemp on the 320 hectare farm, harvesting the seeds to then be pressed and turned into oil and sold online just like this. Blair joins us now. Welcome to Sarah's Country, Blair. It's an exciting, especially following that report by Dr. Nick Marsh, that we're set to potentially have a $2 billion industry, and we're going to call you a pioneer in years go by.
Hello, Sarah. How are you? Thanks for having me. Yeah, a really exciting report to see come out, and the potential for the industry as a whole is huge. And a lot of that is definitely around the fibre and CBD side is where probably some of the future potential lies. But hopefully with some law changes ahead, we can see some of that eventuate. So yeah, very exciting place to be. And I don't know about a pioneer, but some of an early adapter. I'm very open-minded to new things, and we jumped on an opportunity, yeah.
Blair, can you start by telling our audience about the knowledge journey you went on to make the decision to grow hemp?
Look, it's something we've been looking at for a long time, not particularly around hemp, so to speak, but something to take from that paddock to plate and to have that connection with the consumer long term. And it's just, we've sort of been looking at hemp prior to law changes in 2018, and when those laws were changed in this country around human consumption, we decided to jump on it, and probably a little bit naively and without a whole lot of prior planning, but as it's turned out, it's worked in the long run. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting place to be, and the rewarding part of this journey, so to speak, has been the feedback we get from the consumer. So yeah, it's been very good in that aspect.
Okay, I've got to give you some feedback. I think that my joints have improved. That's my piece of feedback since I started taking it, came under a recommendation. And so well done. The reason we're talking to you, though, as well as, of course, off the back of this report, is Gerald Pickard from Farmers Weeklies talked to you about the keys to getting establishment right and your learnings. I'm sure a lot listening and watching would love to know. What were some of those challenges that you've faced over the past 3 years that you can share that others can avoid?
Look, and the biggest challenge for us here was around growing it without a chemistry input as far as establishment went. And it's been, I've got to own up, it's been pretty tough going to this point, and pretty successful around that in the first year. Had our struggles the year just been through our establishment methods and around climatic conditions. But this year, we think we'll have nailed the establishment with this drilling, and next to, or as close as we can to zero soil disturbance is the key to it without putting chemistry over it. So that's a tough one. And once you've got it in the ground and the seeding rate right and building getting a good canopy established, it looks after itself pretty well. It's a very vigorous plant. If you're patient enough and wait for the right soil conditions, temperatures, moisture levels, etc., you put seed in the ground and it, 5-6 days time, it's an inch to an inch and a half high. So it gets up and goes, and as long as you can get it to that point of canopy where it outcompetes the weeds, you pretty much got it done. And then, other things that we learned along the way is I probably had my ferret inputs a wee bit late the last couple of years. So yeah, we'll just bring them forward a wee bit, and it's just learning as you go. There wasn't a lot of knowledge out there. It was out there that not that everyone was prepared to share it. So, the internet was our friend as far as learning anything we could. And New Zealand Hemp Industry Association was very good. Some people in there within helping us, learning how to grow it and further context. So yeah, there's enough there. And I think people now are more willing to help, people establishing crops. And I think a lot of that also is around that stigma's gone of that attachment to marijuana too, so that stigma is breaking down slowly. So yeah, it's a pretty good place to be at the moment, and we'll continue learning. You learn about this crop every day as you do every other crop, but we're getting there. Rome wasn't built in a day, and we're taking our time, and we may not get it perfect this year, but hopefully we'll get there.
Can you tell our audience a bit more about how you build it into your rotation and what hemp needs, but also too the fears of grazing animals alongside if they were to break in, and animal feed, of course, is closely licensed and monitored when it comes to these licenses for hemp as well.
Yeah, it's a rigorous licensing system, that's for sure. And it's quite well involved. There's a police aspect to it, the whole 9 yards, and security. Yeah, look, I mean, as most farms do, you have very reliable and hot wire systems running around farms, so we haven't had a problem with stock breaking in at all. One of the frustrations around it currently, as far as the legal point of view goes, is the byproduct of pressing the seeds for oil is not being able to feed what we call the hemp cake to livestock. So it's an area that we're trying to work on slowly and get a registered product, and also working around getting some law changes in that area, because it doesn't really make much sense when you and I can eat the byproduct of that pressing as a flour or protein powder, but we can't feed it to our hens to get the eggs out of them. It doesn't really add up when we can make the chicken itself healthier for us consumers, the meat chicken or the egg as well. So there's a wee bit of work to go on in that area. I understand why there's some worries around legalising the consumption of the plant as far as livestock is concerned due to our export markets. I get that, but as far as the domestic market is concerned, I think it's very nonsensical to allow the consumption of it for animals. So, yeah, a lot of work going on in that area to try and make some changes there, and hopefully we get them going forward, because like any crop, it's there's a lot of prospects and to go forward and around the byproducts of it too. So. Yeah, and it's frustrating, to put it mildly.
Hey, Blair, we're asking all of our guests tonight, obviously following the leaders' debate last night, what in your mind makes a good leader?
Wow, you've thrown me a curly there. Someone that quite literally leads by example. It's all very well standing up there and talking the talk, but put the feet to the concrete and do the hard yards. That's a good leader. A leader isn't someone that stands there and says, do as I do, not as I, etc. So, a leader that gets in there literally with a spade and does some of the groundwork and shows people how it's done, that to me is a good leader. And I see that from, being a volunteer fireman. Good leadership is about those who get in there and show you how it's done and lead by example, not those that stand there and tell you how to do it and don't show you. So that's my idea of a good leader.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think it's great advice. This is Sarah's Country.